Donald Trump was helped to power by broy podcasters, and he intends to pay them back. And in the case of the most objectionable influencers of all, that includes trying to secure their freedom. Now, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in Romania in 2022 and charged with human trafficking, sexual misconduct, and money laundering, as well as starting an organized crime group. Quite the set of allegations. The pair have denied any wrongdoing, but they are awaiting trial in Romania and are currently banned from leaving the country. But the Trump administration thinks they deserve a holiday. This is from the FT. The Tate's case was first brought up by US officials in a phone call with the Romanian government last week, and then followed up by Trump's special envoy, Richard Grenell, when he met the Romanian foreign minister at the Munich Security Conference. That's according to three people familiar with the matter. A fourth person said a request was made to return the brothers' passports and allow them to travel while they wait for court proceedings to conclude. I'm not a judge, right? But if you were to give those two guys passports, you really think they're going to go back to Romania to face those charges, right? They're going to go straight to Florida, camp out at Mar-a-Lago for the next 4 years, right? It's sort of appreciate all the praise of the most important man in the world, Donald Trump. They're not going to say, okay, fine, yeah, we're going to come back to Romania to face our charges for trafficking. You can see why they're not giving them the passports back. Anyway, Richard Grenell, he's the guy involved here. He is a former diplomat, of course, because he's in the Trump administration. He's a former Fox News contributor. He's got 1.7 million followers on X. He denied having a substantive conversation with the Romanian foreign minister in Munich, but he did say he is a supporter of the Tate brothers. Tristan Tate has recently weighed into the debate about cutting funding for USAID. And earlier this month, he tweeted this. I wonder if any USAID went to Romania to fund any particular lawfare-based investigation, sort of saying they were funding the trial against them. And Richard Grenell, sort of quite a long conversation sort of ensues, but then Richard Grenell intervened saying the USAID programs were weaponized against people and politicians who weren't woke. The Biden team spent US taxpayer money to support left-wing programs and candidates around the world. Conservatives around the world were targeted. Romania is the latest example. Ash. Donald Trump, I suppose, they made their big thing, DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. We shouldn't have officials wasting their time on stuff that isn't that important. And, the number one priority of the State Department now seems to be how do we get podcasters off alleged sex crimes?
Well, that's the thing, is that Doge was never about cutting government waste. I mean, at the same time that Doge has been taking, a hatchet to government spending, the US government has signed a massive contract with Tesla for the production or the provision of armored vehicles. I mean, Elon Musk is a parasite who's grown grotesquely fat off of the US taxpayers' teat. I mean, billions and billions of dollars worth of investment for both Tesla and SpaceX. Now he's inveigled himself to the heart of government. He's not going to stop serving his own interests. And Doge, I think, has had a sort of shock doctrine effect on the US government. So you go in, you initiate a crisis, which is this, massive, indiscriminate bonfire of US aid spending in other departments. And then you use that shock to make those governments serve your political purposes, which in this case is securing the freedom of two guys who talk really, really weirdly and who've been accused of sex trafficking. Now, of course, both Tristan and Andrew Tate vociferously deny the allegations made against them. But there are plenty of comments on the public record which could make you think there's plausible grounds for suspicion here. When they talk about the methods used to wear away the psychological defenses of women to make them do your bidding, you can see why someone would think, all right, you might have been, using this to facilitate a sex trafficking operation. The fact that they've got a large enough following of people who are primed to believe that anything that they dislike as a product of conspiracy is deeply worrying. I mean, there are so many ways in which you can look at the story. Like one's obviously through the lens of Elon Musk and Doge and this sort of, you know, self-serving shock doctrine that he's helping to initiate. The other is the creation of these hermetically sealed information universes where you've got millions and millions of people who are drawn into somebody's orbit and who will not consider for a second that there might be probable cause for the things that they're being accused of. I mean, I think that's the thing that's worrying because it's going to play out again and again and again, whether it's, Andrew Tate or, Russell Brand or anybody else. The fact that there are these cults of personality around these men who, deny the accusations against them, but have publicly behaved in ways which are certainly cause for intense disquiet. I think that's the thing which perhaps worries me most.